Welcome to another episode of Morgan's Point of View, where we talk movies, TV, sports, and other pop culture topics. I'm Morgan. This episode, we're talking about Netflix's newest series, His and Hers, Percy Jackson, episode 6, and a little bit of NBA trade talks. So let's jump right into it. His and Hers, the synopsis goes like this. Two estranged spouses, one a detective, the other a news reporter, vie to solve a murder in which each believes the other is a prime suspect. Starring Tessa Thompson and John Bernthal. This was amazing. I binge watched it all on Thursday. I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes. It wowed me. I'm not even a thriller girl like that. I don't watch too many thrillers. I do love a good mystery, so this fit the billing. In terms of acting, Tessa Thompson is a powerhouse. She's been a powerhouse for a number of years, and I've enjoyed her and everything I've seen her in. John Bernthal is the same way, and he has a big 2026 coming up. The Odyssey is going to be in that, and a whole bunch of other series and movies, so they both brought it. I mean, they were asked to do a lot because the reason why they're estranged spouses is their child dies. And so that's a big emotional weight that they both have to carry throughout the whole series. And they did that amazingly. The other supporting cast, amazing too. The plot itself, it was two sides of it. It was the two spouses, Jack and Anna, working their way back together. And it was also the murder plot, the mystery. And the mystery was amazing. You're not going to guess who did it. You're just not. There's just no way. And if you do guess it, and like you haven't seen any spoilers and you just really guessed it, then I'm shocked. I can't lie, because I definitely didn't guess it at all. And the pacing was really well done. Like, we uncovered something big every episode, and each episode led into the next one beautifully. So let's go character by character. Anna was amazing. I think her ambition and drive was very interesting, coming off the heels of her taking a year break and disappearing basically because her child died. And so she's a news anchor, and she lost her anchor spot. So she goes back up and she's like, I want my old job back. Guys, like, can't do that. I already got somebody else in the space. She's like, okay, let me be a field reporter. So she is a field reporter covering this murder that happens in a small town, Chattanooga, I believe, in a small town outside of Atlanta. And, she knows the victim, and we find out that they have a long-standing history going back 20 years in high school, and something happened on Anna's 16th birthday that made everybody fall out, right? I loved that they had her, like, maybe people think she's unlikable, but to me, she was just super ambitious, and she was just doing whatever she could to get that anchor spot back. But, yeah, she had to deal with her child dying. We covered that. Her and Jack's relationship is just super interesting because, there's a lot of love there. It's just, your child died, that's a lot, and they're trying to figure out a way to move forward with that, and she just needed a year break. Like, she just had to get out and go. Her ending, I was all that ends well with her. Well, she's probably traumatized for the rest of her life, so never mind. But, she got back with Jack. They're taking care of Jack's niece, and, she's pregnant. So a lot of great things happening there. She had a great ending, and then the ending reveal of who did the murder kind of rocked her, and that's what we end with. I want to go to Jack really quickly. John Bernthal. He is spending this whole time trying to cover up the fact that he was at the crime scene, right? When Rachel, who's the person who was murdered, got murdered, right? And the fact that he's spending so much time trying to cover it up, he also has to work the case, and I think that's just an interesting angle, like having to actually figure out who did it because you didn't do it, but also having to cover your tracks because you were there and you witnessed this whole thing is pretty interesting. And sometimes I was frustrated with him, like, come on, like, when he was getting a DNA test, because like the coroner and people, they have to rule out like people's DNA who worked on the crime scene, like they're police officers or whatever. And so he gets his niece to do the DNA swab for him, and I'm just like, all right, come on now, come on. But I think let's dive into a little bit just the plot itself, the murder plot, right? So 20 years ago, Rachel, mean girl, she was with a group of girls. So it was Rachel, this other girl named Helen, Catherine, and Anna, and Zoe, Jack's sister. They were all part of this. It's like kind of think Pretty Little Liars in your mind. Like, they're kind of bad people a little bit, but some of them are not as bad of people. They're just kind of along for the ride. And Anna was the girl who was kind of just along for the ride, right? So we get to the 16th birthday, and you're kind of uncovering this each episode. But in that 16th birthday, something terrible happens to Anna. And we don't realize that it happened to Anna until the last, I want to say maybe 5 minutes of the show, right? We think what happened to Catherine, and that's what gave me the motive of, oh, somebody connected to her is doing this crime, right? Because we don't see Catherine, so I'm assuming, okay, maybe Catherine is dead. And then we find out the anchor at the news who took Anna's spot is Catherine's sister, apparently. Or her, not that she's Catherine's sister, but that her sister died 20 years ago. So I'm putting it together in my brain, okay, so maybe Lexi is the one committing these crimes because her sister was wronged by these girls, right? And so that's the assumption I run with all the way to the last 5 minutes of the show. And I was assuming I was right, but that's kind of what it is. And Anna's kind of holding that close to the vest. She's not really revealing too much. Zoe, Jack's sister, seems traumatized and like, something wrong. She's abusing substances, all of that. And so you realize, oh, she's maybe she feels guilty about something. Maybe something's weighing on her. And we find out exactly what it is that's weighing on her, that she orchestrated or was I would say orchestrated, maybe. Orchestrated or went along with, didn't help stop this heinous crime that was committed to Anna, right? And so that's what she's dealing with this whole series, the guilt. So she's kind of a bad mother. She's kind of just leaving her kid wherever, whenever, like leaving the kid at home and locking the door and just walking out. And this kid is like young. So, that's insane. And then we have Priya. Priya is Jack's partner, and she's the one who's just our earnest. She's actually just trying to solve the crime. And if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have figured out anything because Jack was too busy covering up crime to really try to figure it out. So he was always 1 to 2 steps behind the 8 ball a little bit sometimes. But yeah, everything we just uncovered was new, and everything was kind of pointing to a new suspect kind of each episode a little bit maybe. I never thought Rachel's husband was the one who did the crime at all. I was just stuck on it being the anchor and stuff. And so kind of the last moments of the show, whoever is committing these crimes gets to Zoe, Jack's sister. Zoe passes away, and so he's like, all right, well, I gotta get to Anna because they're gonna come for Anna. Anna gets trapped in this cabin in the, I guess no lake house. Gets trapped in this lake house because the hotel people booted them out of their room or whatever. And so her cameraman, who is the anchor's, Lexi is the anchor, husband, took her to this cabin. So I'm like, oh, okay, so they're gonna try to end her here, right? And it seemed like that. And so it ended up with Priya shooting Lexi, excuse me. We find out Lexi is actually Catherine. Catherine actually killed her sister way back when they were kids. And so she kind of took her identity. And that was wild and crazy, right? And in the last 5 minutes, we find out the mom, Anna's mom, who we think has dementia the whole time, actually did the crimes. That's insane. And I was like, all right, this show's amazing. And you find out that Anna's mom figured out what happened to her, what happened to Anna. She's like, oh, these girls just gotta go. And so that's what she does. And, she's like, nothing, nothing. It's nothing like a mother's love. And that's the end of it. And she wrote a letter to Anna basically detailing all of the crimes and stuff. And she just lied about having dementia, like she was just playing it off like she had dementia and that she was lost and confused the whole time she was doing this whole thing. Peak show, 10 out of 10. Anna and Jack getting back together. I wanted that. I was rooting for that. They had so many groundbreaking scenes of them, talking about the death of their child and how much it weighed on them. Like I'm thinking of the scene at the waterfall or whatever. That was a really cool, like amazing scene, an amazing display of acting. And so the show was amazing. I loved it. So let's go to Percy Jackson. This is just gonna be real quick because I just had to come on here and like speak about Percy Jackson season 2, episode 6, because I thought it was really great. It was the shortest episode of the season, I believe. I think so. But my overall thoughts are, this was really a good step in Percy and Annabeth's relationship, and that's what I'm most intrigued by, I would say, and that's what I want the most. I want Percy and Annabeth to get together, but I know that doesn't happen till later. So they're friends right now, but you can see, they have chemistry. So I don't know, but I think it goes to show how devastating like Percy's fatal flaw is. Percy's fatal flaw is like his loyalty to his friends and how much he cares about his friends, I guess. And so, he gives up what they've been searching for, the Golden Fleece, to Luke to save Annabeth because Annabeth gets hit by this Cyclops monster Polyphemus, right? And so she's, bleeding, all that, and the fleece saves her, but Luke then kidnaps her and takes the fleece. So, but honestly, like, if you were in Percy's position, you would have to play the same card because if Annabeth's your friend, like, you got to do this. Like, the stakes are super high, but at the same time, if you think about Percy Jackson's resume, and I know he wasn't thinking about this in the moment, but I stopped a war between Poseidon and Zeus. I beat Ares 1v1. I beat Luke 1-on-1. I beat, all these people and I did all these amazing things last summer. So I think I can figure it out. So that's why I wasn't too worried about it. Percy's going to figure out what the next play needs to be. And Tyson, loved Tyson in this episode. He just showed up, suplexed Polyphemus, threw him into the water. And Tyson's so like, I think the actor who plays him just does really well because it's kind of a weird, like, mix. The actor is like 22 or something, but he's playing an 8-year-old basically. But I think he does it really well. And Percy and Tyson's relationship is really sweet. And also Annabeth and Luke's relationship, you could tell Luke deeply cares about her. He just kind of puts on front sometimes, and it's like, come on, you care about Annabeth, like that's your sister, right? And that's really cool. Clarice, I really like her this season. I think her thought process makes sense. Like, there was not a time where I was like, that doesn't make sense for her to do it like that. Just knowing how she is as a character and what was built up in kind of episode or season 1. I'm sorry, and the couple of episodes she was in. And so to see her with this expanded role in season 2, and I read the book, so I remember Clarice being around more. Everything makes sense with her. And, Grover, he was kind of sidelined this season. He's really not doing a lot. But I expected that going into it because, again, I read the book. And I think what he's been able to do in his reduced role has been really good. And yeah, like, I like this show. I'm enjoying it so much. Like, I really look forward to it week to week. I was behind 2 weeks, so I had to catch up. So I watched episodes 4 and 5 that Tuesday and then watched episode 6 Wednesday. And I've been having a ball with this season. And they say, like, Sea of Monsters is, like, the worst book in the set. So, I'm excited for season 3, an expanded budget. They already are filming that now, and so it's not going to be that usual streaming, like, 3-year break. We're going to get right into it. And Titan's Curse, is that the third one? That might not be the third one. Whatever the third book is, like, it starts to get darker, it starts to get serious, and, like, we start to really get into it, and so I'm definitely excited for that. Annabeth is going to be sidelined in season 3, so I'm not excited about that, but, it's going to be cool. Yeah. And so let's go into some NBA trades just really quickly because I wanted to touch on this and talk about this because I thought it was just super interesting. Trae Young ends up getting traded to the Wizards. Now, the writing was on the wall for him to be traded. I say like a month or 2 or 3 into the a month or 2 into the season, I was like, all right, come on, guys. It's not really working. And I was sad about it because I've seen Trae Young play since he was in high school, and, like, I really thought him in Atlanta was, like, a cool fit, and he kind of brought, some new vibes to Atlanta because we were out of that Al Horford, Kyle Korver, like, vibe. And that was the last time I remember Atlanta being really prominent. Jeff Teague and them, like, and so to see that, and he kind of brought it into the new era, got us to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe. And, that was cool. So him getting traded to the Wizards is unfortunate, but I guess for him, that was his preferred destination, I guess. And I just wonder why that is. Maybe they gave him a short list and he just couldn't pick anywhere, but, like, I'm interested because a report came out that he wouldn't play for the Wizards. Like, he wasn't going to suit up and play. So I'm confused about why he wanted to go there. But then in his introductory press conference, maybe a day or two ago, it seemed like he was going to play. So I'm confused, and we'll just see how that all works out. But, I think Trae Young can elevate DC as a big market, I think, in a way. Even though, people say small guards are going out of style in the NBA. It's not going to be as prominent anymore. And you see bigger guards like Cade Cunningham at like 6'7", 6'8", or something. And like, him being dominant. You see Trae's numbers, he's not really doing much because he can't do much on the defensive end. And when he was on the floor with the Hawks, they were losing constantly. But then when he's off the floor, they're winning. So, we'll see what the Wizards brings. But I do like a lot of players on the Wizards. I don't watch too much Wizards basketball, I'm going to be honest with you. But what I see from some of their players, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they can build something here. But Trae Young doesn't have as much trade value right now, so you can't immediately trade him. So I think you should probably just play him and just see what happens. And then the Grizzlies are exploring the option to trade Ja Morant, and to me, this was, kind of like, you could predict this happening just because of how the season has gone for Ja Morant. And I feel like when you're not able to live up to your billing as a player, just in terms of, I don't know what it is either. I don't know if it's just like he kind of lost a little bit of athleticism. I don't know if it's the coaching change. I really can't diagnose it. I don't know. But, there's so many games that he sits out or he doesn't play. And like, him calling Klay Thompson a bum in street clothes when Klay Thompson's actually playing. He's a multi-time NBA champion. It's just like, all right, come on. But those shoes, though, the Ja Morant threes, love those shoes. Love them a lot. And I wrote an article on the best shoes in the NBA, and that was number 1 on the list, lead.com. But yeah, like, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what the Grizzlies are going to do with that. I think you should just try it, but at the same time, I don't know what his value is, like what you're going to get back if you're the Grizzlies, because Atlanta didn't get much back at all. So, I don't know. They got CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. So, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but that's going to be interesting as we approach the trade deadline in February. But yeah, I'm excited for the NBA season. NBA season has been great so far. I've really enjoyed myself. So yeah. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching or listening. I'll be back next week with another episode. Come back here for all the latest news on sports, entertainment, and pop culture. Follow me on TikTok at morganspointofview_, and on YouTube at Morgan's Point of View. Have a great rest of your day.